Hey everybody, welcome back. So today I'm going to be doing OC type avatars for my subscribers, or based around some of their stuff. So I'm going to be doing some partial redesigning and partial tweaking. So yeah, this video has been in the works for a while, but honestly it's been interesting. But with that out of the way, let's get into the very first OC type avatar that I'm going to be doing. So today, the video, I'm going to be doing Claire, Kay, I can't remember her name, Simple, and I believe the last but not least will be a surprise. But with that out of the way, let's get into Claire's. Okay, doing some research and also having done a little bit of a redesign of her avatar, or OC, or basically her avatar in the past, I decided to make an OC out of it and basically redesign it partially and come up with some lore and kind of tweak the design because I personally thought it was a cool design, but there could have been a lot more to it. So I decided to tweak it heavily compared to the original concept that I had. Partially, what I started to do was obviously take influence from witches and also a little bit of the Hex Girls from Scooby-Dooby-Doo and Rogue from X-Men Evolution. I partially, knowing that her design was kind of like more kind of simple, I wanted to keep that type of design philosophy going in. Now, I technically kind of tweaked it a little bit, where I basically wanted to take influence partially from more witches and kind of succubi, if you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. But I didn't want to stray away from what was originally there. So I kind of tweaked the physique a little bit, partially giving them pointy ears, and taking influence from 10 years later version, Butch Hartman's version, of Danielle Fenton. I partially gave her flaming hair. I did tweak the partial design that I did with the rogue-like cover and cut the hole in the shape of a bat, which was pretty cool and I thought would be nice. I wanted to keep the top in almost like a cut up, very muchly like almost crop top or something, and the pants, I don't know. I honestly kept them long, baggy type pants. I was originally going to do short shorts, but I just couldn't make it work in the design. It just wasn't clicking, so I tweaked the shirt and kept going with the pants. As you'll see later in the video, I think I just said heck with it. But with the hair, originally I was going to have it more spiky and flaming upwards, but I eventually just settled on having it be more long ways and it being kind of more Vi-ish but very long later on. I did keep the choker, but I slightly tweaked and kept it more simple. I did cut some designs like the glove and maybe and the bit of the belt because I just didn't want to use them. It just didn't work. But I decided to have the hair be flaming because, well, succubi, demon, you know. I kept tweaking the design partially because I figured there's a lot of things from the original attempt that I just wanted to keep, but I kept the eyes with a black, almost green flame to them, but I did end up cutting the pants a little and tweaking some elements of the design, like having her have more of a rogue type look and the OC. Now with the design principle with the backstory or OC type look, I don't really know. I honestly wanted there to be more of a witch demon hybrid, so almost more succubi than anything else, but that was just me. I decided to keep the hair almost like a pinkish look more than purple because I thought it fit better, and I ended up tweaking the blouse just a little bit. I liked that I kept have a bat cut hole because I wanted there to be more of a Halloween feel to the design, and I felt it would be pretty cool. A more succubi look, and keeping within the theming of almost Halloween, I decided to make her a mix between a succubus and a witch. I kept the flaming hair look because I thought it was something cool, and I struggled a bit with the symbol, but on her blouse, because yes, the green shirt is a blouse. I figured it was the most iconic part of the design, and even in my redesign before, I kept it, so why not change it? I went with a almost Vi aesthetic. I kept the choker, but eventually slightly tweaking it from my original design. I originally did a lot more of a complicated design with the choker, but I ended up kind of simplifying it in the final product, keeping the pants with more like ripped up joggers and purple boots. I eventually kind of settled on something which was partially tweaking of what I already had, but yeah, here is the Claire OC. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Now let's move on to Kay. With hers, I didn't have much reference. I went with her imp design she gave me a long while back and kind of tweaked it. I am not settled on the final product, but yeah. I wanted to basically make her imp, or basically her OC, based on a mixture between an imp and a succubi. Because she loves Hell of a Boss and has been a tell, I slightly was struggling a little bit with the design. Partially because of the clothes being very non-existent, I kind of wanted to stay within that realm. I slightly tweaked the design partially in the final product, but other than that, I kind of kept it mostly the same of what they pretty much had. I was struggling a bit with the anatomy for a bit, but I ended up getting it. Partially making them smaller in stature and kind of making their OC based on Hell of a Boss, which was kind of what they gave me a long while back. I kind of just wanted to tweak the design just a little bit. So I ended up making them partial imp, partial succubi, and partial angel. The angel bit I'll explain in a little bit. Hold your freaking horses. Now I ended up coming up with two designs, partial tweaking what was the original, but because I didn't like the clothing of the first one because it just felt off. Also, with the hair, I partially just cut it up a little bit, made it a little shorter, kept the horns, obviously, and made the skin a mixture between pink and red. I wanted to have them be based on Hell of a Boss because it was an OC, and the franchise is amazing, so I kind of did some research and tried to come up with my version of a human angel mixed with a incubus, or not an incubus, a succubus and imp. So I ended up tweaking giving them a highlight in the hair and a cool little symbol based around angelicness, kind of taking influence from Charlie and Vaggie. There it is. Verosica. In the final design, I kinda ended up tweaking some things, but is both of those designs here in a minute. I will say the hair was the most tricky part, but I think I came up with a perfect compromise and tweaked that. Also, if you're wondering what the symbols are, let's just say those are the angelic stuff. Here is design 1 and design 2. Due to some time restraints, let's get into simples, because this was the most fun. I will end up doing some partial redesigns or changing up some stuff later on, but the design I went with compared to his newer icon, because it looks too much like Sammy, I went back and used his old one, taking inspiration from Dungeons & Dragons, Lord of the Rings, to make something a little different as an OC. Now, I will eventually, when I get the time, I will kind of change it up a little bit, because I do have some pretty cool ideas with it, taking inspiration from like Sauron, the Ghost King, and from his original icon, not the newer one, the older one, because I like that one and I did art for it, so I'm biased. I ended up kind of doing this. Hopefully you guys enjoy. This is the OC. I will remaster it at a later date, but make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Sorry, I don't have the time to do the last one the way things were originally planned out. But till next time, guys. Bye-bye.